welcome to my channel, Good Thrift Hunting. And this is the first part of a video series that I am putting out there for you called Goodwill Outlet 101. I love the incredible deals that I can get from the Goodwill Outlet. And my friends and family are always super amazed at, first of all, what I can find there, and second of all, how much I pay, which is basically next to nothing. So not many people know about the Goodwill Outlet and how it all works. So there's a little bit of the fear of the unknown, I think, because it's definitely not your run-of-the-mill thrift store. Definitely not. Though there's a lot to know about it before you go. So the first part of this video series called the Goodwill Outlet 101 is answering your questions. I have 10 questions that I want to go through and give you answers for. But before I start, I want to preface this by saying that my experience is based on the Goodwill Outlet based here in Edmonton, Alberta. And so the prices that I talk about are for that location, and from what I've gathered, though, from my research, is that the process itself is similar across all the outlet locations, most of them anyways. So the process itself is similar, but prices might be a little different, say if you're in the States versus here in Canada. So just be aware of that. So without further ado, let's get started. Number one is, how is the Goodwill Outlet different than any other Goodwill regular store or any other thrift store? Well, there is a big difference. In a normal thrift store, you have lovely racks of clothes with hangers. Maybe they're divided by size, divided by color, and everything's nice. There's shelves with products on them, and it's a lovely shopping experience. But at the outlet, there's none of that. You have giant big blue bins with lots of stuff crammed into those bins, all piled high. There's different bins for clothes, housewares, shoes, books, toys, DVDs, like you name it. There's bins and everything is chucked into them. So definitely not like a regular thrift store you would go to. And basically you get into those bins and you dig and dig and dig and dig and try and find those treasures. So, but I'll be talking more about that a little bit later. So that's how it's different than a regular thrift store. Question number 2, what do things cost and are there price tags? And no price tags. They cost things out based on how much they weigh. So how it works is this. It's $1.99 for anything up to 50 pounds. Over 50 pounds, it's 99 cents a pound. Other things like books and glassware are 60 cents a pound. So it's all based on poundage at the outlet. However, there is a separate area. It's part of the outlet, but just same building, just around the corner, separate entrance, is the furniture outlet. And in that area, furniture, obviously, different housewares, artwork, things like that, electronics, those do have price tags, okay? So, but if you go into the outlet that's more geared towards clothing and some other housewares that go into the bins, that's going to be by the poundage. So that is the difference. Number 3, isn't it gross? And I assume people ask this or wondering this because you have to dig in the bins with all the clothes and stuff. But it's not gross. It's not for the faint of heart by any means, but not gross. I mean, I've heard stories of used underwear, suspicious stains, the occasional mouse, but I have never encountered any of that. I don't have any horror stories like that. It can be dusty. You got to be careful of broken things like broken glass or sharp plastic, things like that. But that's about it. And I just think that if you've been a thrifter for many years like me, you're not going to think it's a problem to go digging around for stuff. I think the transition to the outlet model will be pretty easy if you're used to thrifting overall. If this is your first time going to a thrift store ever in your life, I might not recommend that for a first journey into thrifting. Maybe check out the regular stores first, but if you've been doing it years like I am, you're not gonna have a hard time with it, and definitely not gross. Okay, question 4 is, isn't it total chaos? I've seen videos of some craziness online. And I have seen those videos too, where people get real feisty at the outlet. I first have to tell you a bit about the actual process of how the bin system works. So about every 25 minutes or so, at this location anyways, every 25 minutes, a bin is rotated out. So they take away the stuff that's been on the floor and they bring in a fresh bin with new items in it from the warehouse. People, what they do is there's a line marked on the floor, and they stand behind that line and they wait for this fresh bin to come. So the bin comes out and the employee has to make sure it's in place and lock it in place, and then they give a signal for the people to go ahead, because you can't just come in and dig when it's not securely positioned and what have you. So people wait there, the bin comes in, they say go ahead, and then they all kind of dive into the fresh stuff. So that's how it goes. Yes, I have seen some videos on YouTube, what have you, about people like elbowing each other and like stuff is flying everywhere, and it's just total chaos and mayhem. I've never seen it like that here at this location, and people are really respectful, and from what I've seen, it's definitely not like that. So don't be afraid. Having said that, you don't even have to take part in that whole business. You can just wait back at the other end and kind of go through your own stuff, and you don't have to join in on the fresh bins when they come. And I'll talk about that more later. But yeah, it's definitely not chaos. It's actually very well run, and the employees keep everything in check, and yeah, definitely not chaotic. Okay, question number 5 is, where does all the stuff come from? So I initially thought that if your donated items that you give to the regular Goodwill doesn't sell, it goes to the outlet, and that's where all the stuff comes from, which is partially correct. So first off, did you know that when you donate items to the Goodwill, only about 30% of what you donate goes into the regular Goodwill store? 70% does not go into the store. So when the employees there are looking at what you've donated, there's a few things that they consider. So do they think it will sell easily? That's definitely the first question they would ask. Is the item in good condition? So if it's clothing, if there's any rips or stains or anything that you give, furniture, toys, is it in a usable, good condition? Is there any room for it in the store? Maybe they have a ton of furniture in the store and they don't need it on the floor. So do they have room for it? Do they have enough of that item already? And they even ask things like, is it in season? So if you're donating a winter jacket in June, maybe that's something that's they know that isn't going to sell for a long time, so it doesn't go onto the floor. So the employees go through and they ask all those questions, and if it successfully goes through, they put it on the floor to be sold, and if not, it would go to the outlet. So there's a lot of considerations that go into it. Another thing to add is if it does go to the regular Goodwill store, it only stays there for about 3 weeks. So for the first 2 weeks, it's there just a regular price. In the third week, it goes on sale. So you might have seen where it's like today's yellow tag day or the green tag day, where that color item price tag is 50% off. And so then if it still doesn't sell after that, then it gets shipped off to the outlet. So there you go. That's how that whole process goes. And also, people can donate to the outlet directly. They do have a donation bin there at the outlet, so items can go there straight away. Yeah, and then we could also talk about what happens to the items that don't get sold at the outlet. So they're there at the bins, no one wants them still, then where do they go? And that's a story for another video. Okay, question 6 is, can anyone go? Is it open to the public? And the answer is yes, of course, it's open to the public. I would say that there are 3 types of people who go to the outlet, or categories of shoppers. First are flippers and resellers. So this is a big portion of people who go, and those are those people who are looking for items to sell on their own, online usually. So you'll see a lot of people who fill up their bins with tons and tons of stuff, several bins of things, and that's because they think they could, yeah, flip it and make some profit. Other people there are getting items to send overseas, maybe to family who live overseas. So they're doing that. And also, I guess the third category would be people who are shopping just for local, buying things for their own family and personal use. I will say that I'm not a reseller or flipper myself yet, maybe someday. But there are lots and lots of YouTubers who know a whole bunch about that subject. And I can link to a couple of them in my details of my video if you'd like to know more about that. So there you go. Okay, so number 7, the question is, do I need to go first thing in the morning, or what time of day is best to go to the outlet? And as I mentioned before, they switch out the bins every 25 minutes or so. So I would say that it's not necessary to be right at the doors when they first open, because you're going to be getting fresh product onto the floor every half hour or so. So unless you're wanting to make a whole day of it, and if you want to go and get as much as you can and see as many things, new items coming out as possible, then sure, if you're making a day of it, then you can go first thing. But it's definitely not necessary, but optional. I don't go first thing. I go around noontime myself. So there you go. Okay, question number 8 is, can I bring my kids with me? And the answer is no. At the Edmonton location, they do have a rule of under 16 are not permitted. I think I've seen other locations in the States where it's under 12, but definitely for me here, it's under 16. So keep that in mind. And yeah, I don't know, it's a nice break for me to go without the kids. They'd be bored anyways, honestly. So it's fun for mom to go and be on my own for a little bit. Okay, question number 9 is, can I try things on, and can I return or exchange items? And the answer to both is no. I wouldn't advise trying anything on. They don't have change rooms or anything, and you can't really be sure about the cleanliness of the items, so I wouldn't be trying things on. Maybe a coat or something, but definitely nothing besides that. You kind of just have to take a chance, and you know what? Things are so cheap anyways. Even if I think something's kind of close to my size, I just chuck it in my cart anyways, and it's not a big risk. So yeah, definitely no try-ons, no returns or exchanges. And finally, question number 10 is, can you get decent things there? And absolutely. I invite you to look at some of my other videos on my channel called Extreme Thrifting Hauls, where I go through all the things, the awesome things that I can get for literally pennies. So definitely check those out and see the type of things that you can get there, and that'll give you a good idea. So you can definitely get some awesome finds. So that's all the questions and answers that I have for you today. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about the Goodwill Outlet and what it's all about. But I have so many more things to tell you. The next installment in this series will be all about how to prepare for your Goodwill Outlet visit, and also different tips and tricks for you to really get the best deals and have a really great time when you go to the outlet. So hopefully I'll see you for the next installment. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!